Let's start with Kenyan preacher Paul Mackenzie.
Yeah.
I am ignorant to who this fine gentleman is.
Unfortunately, in Africa, there are a lot of religious leaders who go nuts. Now, some of them have been inspired by American evangelicals, which I think this guy has been. So that's infused itself with the Kenyan spirituality.
So he's an African evangelical.
And yeah, he used to be a taxi cab driver, and he got more and more popular in a bigger and bigger church. But basically, he started, of course, preaching apocalyptic stuff, and also he also told his followers, education is bad, medicine is bad. Also to get rid of documents on themselves and get away from their families and follow him into the forest.
Into the forest.
And this is the thing. He figured out that you can meet Jesus if you starve yourself to death. Don't do it. That's not the way to do it. Yeah, you would think, because he said that the world was going to come to the end. But this is the thing. A guy I work with today pointed out, if the world's going to come in, why not eat as much as you want?
Yeah, you just eat all you can. So I had ChatGPT just asked us to make some bullet points about Kenyan preacher Paul Mackenzie. He said he had some controversial teachings in legal troubles. Is this something? I mean,
yeah, he did. Yeah. Also, he was down on other religions too. He was down on Muslims and Catholics and other religions you find in Kenya and stuff. And I think the controversial thing is he told his followers to not eat until they die.
It's kind of like a Jim Jones, where instead of saying drink the punch and he's saying don't eat. So how did that work out for his followers?
Basically, they'd find a mass grave of say 26, then they'd find another mass grave of 50, and they keep finding more and more mass graves. Eventually, the number now is 400
of followers that didn't eat,
and it's sadly a lot of them were kids and women, but also too there's some murder going on. There's some strangulation and whacking people on the head
by Paul Mackenzie.
Probably by him and his followers, and I guess they're not quite dead, and they're like, go ahead, just whack them.
So what was he saying? And I think I'm interested that I know sometimes if you don't eat, you kind of experience hallucinations. So I'm wondering if maybe that's what he was trying to trigger. Is he's trying to trigger that
very well could have been something, because he said as you starve to death, the last thing you see is Jesus, and I could see people believing in that and just getting more religious euphoria and just drifting off. And also psychologically, though, the way they do it too is once your kids go, you're gonna go too. I could see how you get 400 once certain people.
Like a package deal.
It's it, and there's more people missing. That's the sad thing.
I see. So what was he besides the not eating? Did you have any? I don't see how you could get people on board with that without some sort of other further. This is going to lead to What was he?
The big thing was the end of the world. Satan was going to come, the devil, and he would rule for 1,000 years. So I think that's kind of you want to get out of there before the big devil comes, and he's not the fun heavy metal devil, the apocalypse devil.
So you're saying don't eat so that we get out of here before the devil comes.
Yeah. I don't think it was the tempting you with fruit devil either. It's something you would fear, and I could see why you would get out of town then. And it's just and the sad thing too is there's other preachers who have done mass murders and stuff.
Yeah, it seems like it always kind of that's where it goes a lot of the times.
Actually,
it gets off the rails.
Yeah, there was another one. It was called the Ten Commandment Church, and the Church of the Ten Commandments or something of that nature. And this guy actively, they started figuring out he was a crook, and he actively killed his parishioners. He didn't tell them. He put them into the church and got them all to church. And then they boarded up the church and set it ablaze. They killed a few hundred people. And the scary thing about that is they don't know where he is now. He took off.
Paul Mackenzie?
No, not Paul Mackenzie. This was a whole other. This is a guy in Uganda.
Evangelical. So it's kind of like the Wild West of preaching.
Unfortunately, I think now, hopefully now Kenya's going to start to crack down on the religious extremists, because I think it is shocking in the country because people are being like, this is really not right at all. You know, so
As you said, it seems like religious extremism is kind of everywhere. It's probably always been that way throughout history, but yeah it doesn't.
And I hope this does inspire an African, say, backlash against extreme religiosity and like Christian cults or any kind of cults.
I mean, was his doctrines and his teaching, was he kind of Christian, or was he like an African religion that he was kind of?
It was like Christianity. Yeah, it was. Though, yeah, I bet you there probably were unique African elements in there. You know, I would imagine.
He knew his audience and he was talking to them.
Yeah.
I just don't get why anyone would follow him. If someone says the devil's coming, don't eat, I would just kind of be like, no, I like my food, and yeah.
Well, they did interview people, and some of them were like, he started off normal, and then he just started getting more and more extreme, more hateful. They said some people left because of that, but yeah, he kept turning up the volume on the cuckoo.
Well, that's the quote, right? That absolute power corrupts absolutely. So once you start getting some followers and you have absolute power, I just wonder how that, how that corrupts you. Because clearly it does people. I mean, it's pretty rare for someone to get a lot of power, whether it's a political leader, religious leader, and then not become corrupted or let it get to their ego. Because we all ultimately have egos that were, can be stroked and patted.
I'm glad like Oprah hasn't gone nuts yet. She could probably at some point realize that she could eat a baby and nobody would care.
Wasn't she trying to save Hawaii with The Rock?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think her and The Rock were trying to get donations for people to save Hawaii after it burnt. And I think the general pushback was, Oprah, you're pretty wealthy. Let's put some money on the table yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who knows? I don't know. Does she still have a daytime talk show, Oprah, or she's kind of off there?
No. I wonder. You know what? I wonder what is she actually doing? She's
what is Oprah?
Is she like?
She has a powerful platform. She could be using it for good. She seems like she's neutral. She's not doing anything positive or negative. She's just still well known. People want her to run for president still.
I despise that idea because I don't like. I think I'm like celebrities. No. I like if somebody's out there and they say I'm going to grab them. It's like no Oprah.
Well, that's the thing. I think at this point people are kind of pushing for, they're grasping for straws because we don't seem to have any good candidates. But back to Paul Mackenzie. What's the big takeaway? How should we as Americans, why should we care about a Kenyan preacher?
Well, it's weird. Like if the news cycle was any different, we'd probably hear about this right away. But 400 people have already died. This is
so it's ongoing.
It's ongoing, and we got to tell her, Kenya, if you know anybody from Kenya, say, hey, watch out for this guy.
Yeah. If someone tells you not to eat, question them. Keep eating while you do it.
Yeah.